Hey all, welcome back to the shop. This is another episode of Jimmy Tinkers with Crap. What I'm going to be doing today is making a prop that I think you guys will all be interested in. Thought I'd start the process on making another one because it's always good to have more of putting together another foot juggling tube. So we're going to start off with measuring out the right distance, so that way for me it's about 4 feet, to where when I do my tricks I don't hit myself in the face. So we're going to measure that out and then try to cut it as straight as I can, and then we'll go about like fireproofing it, I guess is the best way to put it. Okay, let's get going. You know what is great about making these things is all of a sudden, boom, I have another rollabola cylinder. So yeah, now I am going to go over all of these rough edges and make sure that they don't cut me. And then I'm going to go ahead and start figuring out how to attach this stuff, because I haven't been to Lowe's in a bit. So I need to find a way to attach this onto here securely without using the cinches that I normally use. But I think I'm going to be using wire, and hopefully that is going to be less bulky. So this is going to be foot juggling cylinder Mark II, or 3 at this point, Mark III, and I'm going to be using all of the things that I've learned from making the ones in the past to try to make this one even better. Now, you might be asking yourself, Jimmy, why are you wearing gloves to work work with PVC pipe and scissors? Because this is aluminum sheet or tin sheet, one of the two. I think it's tin. Aluminum. It's a metal, and it's sharp as hell. So I have cut myself too many times to not wear gloves. So may I suggest wearing gloves when dealing with. I know that this may seem odd coming from somebody who juggles fire and juggles knives, but I have also learned from doing all of those things that you take your risks where you have to, and where you don't have to, just don't. So that's why even with like our tricks are really well rehearsed, and we take our time with them, and then we don't add anything on stage that we don't feel generally confident with. There's always like a risk of failure, but it doesn't always, like, it's a very small risk, and it's a risk that I'm willing to take. But back to tin. or aluminum. Always wear like gloves if you can. Like if you're gonna do any, like even with yard work, I use glasses. Like I have safety glasses for yard work. Do you know why? Because I've had sticks bounce off my face, and my eyeballs are really important. Safety, y'all. Something else you might ask me is, why, Jimmy, are you making 4 of them? Aren't there only 2 sides on this? Well, I plan on putting some on the inside as well, because the idea is that I am going to be leaving the top of this open. The idea being that it will keep the PVC cooler if I can allow air to go in between. That was the idea I did with the Mark II. This and Mark III, I kind of want to do something similar. But I was thinking about it, and what I think I'd like to do for Mark III is, I think somewhere around here I have some nuts and bolts. What I'm gonna do, clever minx that I am, is I'm going to put this stuff around and then tighten it with wire first. Then I'm gonna bolt them in at the connection points. And make sure I use the same amount of bolts, so that way I don't throw the balance off by adding more wire to one side or not. That's why I had to make each one of these 16 inches to make sure that I keep a lid on the weight ratio. So that way when I put this on my feet, it is balanced right in the dead center and not weighted to where other side. You also may be asking yourself, why a spoon, cousin? Why not an axe or a sword? Because it's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more. And if you could name what movie that's from, I'll give you $1. Hint, it's one of my favorite Alan Rickman movies. So, close call. Almost didn't find these little guys, these little bolts, nuts and bolts. Searched everywhere because I was like, I knew I had some, but I have enough to get the whole project done. Although I think just for time's sake, I'm just gonna do one side to show you kinda like what my thought process is. And then that way we don't waste time on doing 2. You get the idea with 1, just double it. But I do have enough to complete the task. And then hopefully I can get out juggling with it soon. Yeah. Onward! So, I figured something out. I figured out that on the inside of this, once I folded over the aluminum, it became like a trap. So as I was trying to like put my hand in to like get stuff, it would catch on the aluminum, and I was like, that would be the most elaborate acrobat trap. Be like, here, get in there and tighten these nuts. And I'm stuck. Don't worry, I fixed it. Or I just fell for my own trap. One of the two. So now I am going to drill some holes. No. Going to wrap it in aluminum tape first. And this duct tape, like literally for ducts. So all of this stuff is to reflect heat and get it away from the plastic. So yeah, there's a little bit of meltage, but not a lot if I do this right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply this all over here, and then I'm going to drill holes to put this stuff in, I will put my wicking on for fire. Onward. I hate math. Little pro tip I found out was that so now I've got to cut apart this cable. Something that I realized is that this stuff is very fibrous, so when you cut it, it doesn't always like to cut because it'll separate, it'll bend, but if you tape it right where you want to cut it, it cuts a lot better. So that's why I'm taping it. So I'm going to mark it, tape it. It's going to be about 15 inches. Hopefully that'll go through. Also then, hopefully all this stuff will stay together so that way I can thread it through the holes that I made a lot easier. Wah! Yeah, just to kind of show you, I don't know if this is going to be possible to see, but we'll check it out. So here is the one that I did before taping, and here's the one after. Right? So much cleaner. So, pro tip. All right, back to work. All right, so these fit in really, really well. So now what I'm gonna do is I have them set to exactly 5 1/4 inches out. So now I need to make sure that they stay in place while how I've chosen to like keep these in place permanently is I actually wrap wire around the X in the middle. Once I get these taped down, it'll show you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little bit of tape. Because this stuff is really nice and temporary. And then lock this in place. I only have to do one side because there's only 2 of them. And once I get that done, I can double check my measurements. Make sure that I didn't adjust them weirdly. Yeah. 5 1/4. 5 and a little bit. And 1/4. Great. So yeah, here's the center of it. So I'm going to be locking things down in the middle here, rather than having a bunch of exposed like clamps and stuff on the outside, like my first like the prototype one. So I feel like I've streamlined this a little bit to make it look flashier without it being while keeping the stability of it. So hopefully it's sturdy. That's how I roll. All right, let's wire this thing down. And there you have it. Now this is just the one side that's done. I'm gonna finish the other one on my own time. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a little bit how we create some of the stuff that we have in the show. So keep supporting our Patreon, and we'll keep coming up with shit to show you. See you soon.